Recording is in progress. Good evening, y'all. This is Co-Platoon. Evenings and weekends, we're Hotel Platoon. I am your host, Jordan West. We are on Module 7, Week 20, Day 2. Last week of React. What are we going to do today? Not really much. It's actually a pretty short little lecture, as you can see here. But you may recall from Django, authentication, having tokens. Django has authentication built in. You can set an endpoint that says get token, hit that, and then every other conversation you have with Django from then, if you've got your token, you're fine. And Django lets you do the things you're supposed to do. Great. That's the hard part. We're going to do the easy part and hit those endpoints, grab those tokens, and bundle them into, into our calls. Everything you need for this lecture has already been done. It's all here. I'm not going to really lay any code, but we're going to read through it. Jordan, I don't like looking at code that's already there. I want to write it. Tough beans. You're going to be writing a lot of code, and you're going to be reading a lot of code. You're going to be reading a lot more code than you're going to be writing. We got to get good at looking at what's there and understanding it. The difference between a mediocre developer and a baby developer is somebody who can look at someone else's code and work through it. If you didn't write it, that's not an excuse to not understand it unless it's trash code, which this is not. This is fine code. It's easy to read. It's easy to follow. So we're going to work together, look through this, and get after it. We're going to create a React front end for the API. No, we're not. It's already created. We're going to use this auth compose branch of wine API. We've used this before. Let's just copy this on over here. Get one that. Hop in there. Django. Good old Django. Let's look at these URLs. Oops, not very useful. Let's look at these URLs. Cool. What do I want to see, though? Admin, wines. My sign-in stuff. Oh, it's not there because it hasn't changed the branch yet. Get checkout with auth compose. Is that right? Compose with auth compose. Comatose compose. There we are. Now let's find it. Accounts, URLs. There they are. There's sign up and get token. We don't have to dive into these too deep. Most of this is coming from, this handy dandy whamadime REST framework auth token views. We've got a little sign up view here that we can take a look at. Nothing crazy. Username, password, and then it creates a user. Seems good. This URL get token, obtain auth token, it's just going to give us an auth token. That's mostly what we're hitting. We're not doing anything too crazy beyond that. This is our Django app. This is what we're trying to hit. These URLs are going to be get token and sign up. Let's spin this baby up. Run compose. Should start everything up. While my piece of junk Mac Mini is spinning that up. Let's continue. To set up the API, clone down the repo, checkout, run compose. Done. The script will, it'll seed the database a little bit. We've got sign up, we got get token. Oh, the other thing we're going to hit is wines. Here's wines. I'm just going to get a list of wines. Y'all remember this?
Yep.
Wine API. Love it.
Yep.
Are we run? Are we done? Goodness. Macintosh, hurry. A minute to pip install? I can't believe how slow this thing chugs sometimes. I do love it though. Mac Mini is such a good little investment. It just doesn't have a ton of power. So stuff like this, not so great. Um, that should spin out. That should get going. Are these reachable yet? Let's see. Yeah. So that's at least the endpoint, yet doesn't allow anything. That seems good. Let's see these wines. Detail. Authentication credentials were not provided. That seems right. I didn't. I just hit around a GET request, right? Um, looks like we're up. Does this just run locally? Oh, okay, it does detach. So we're done looking at that. As a reminder, here's what authentication flow looks like. Can I get a volunteer to explain this image here? Explain it in your own words, or read it and explain it to me as if I don't understand authentication.
Yeah. So, let me see here. So you essentially you're getting the client to send the username and password via the sign up to the API on the back end server.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and then that the server is going to create a new user with the associated token. Uh, the second phase, the second line there is basically after the user has a token, they go to sign in again. They're going to send the username password to get token, and then it's going to look up the user's token. Um,
So
it's
just
kind of
one minor thing, and you
mm,
probably understand this. It's just the way you kind of said it. Understand the user does not have a token yet. The account within Django within the database that does have an associated token, but the user we don't have a token yet. We don't have anything to do with it yet, right?
right.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. And so once you sign up and everything, it'll look up the use sign up, and then you go send the username and password to get the token. It's going to look up the user's token and send it back to the client, to the user. Uh, and then after that, down the next line is basically including the token for any further API requests to the server. And the server will check the validity of the token and send a response if it's a valid token back to the user.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Um, we need an account with associated token. I think this token probably isn't the same token all the time. I bet it changes. Um, whenever we want to sign in, the sign in is just like the sign up, verifies as a user, but it returns something. We grab that. We just have to find somewhere to put that there token. You can put it in a myriad of locations. Session storage, local storage, write it to a file, put it in a variable, put it in your environment, hide it away somewhere. It doesn't matter. We just need to have that token. We probably shouldn't expose it. It should be fairly locked down. However, this token shouldn't last for forever. So best place, probably somewhere ephemeral. We don't want this token to live for forever because it's not going to work forever. Um, the React front end is here. Did I link this right? Sure did. Cool beans. Let's clone it down. React tokens. Okay. What then, lecture? Start her up. Oh, goodness gracious. What happened, guys? Why didn't that work? I ran npm install and it didn't run. What's going on? I thought I was supposed to run npm install to install things. Who's paying attention?
Yeah, you don't have a package. You don't have a package lock.json file or package.json file.
Why not? Because I didn't go in there. That's all.
Oh, yeah, that's
All
I see.
right, there it is.
Your screen's too small.
Oh, sorry, y'all. My bad. I like big screens. Cannot lie. You're rough, Dev. All right, let's close up Django for now. I have no real desire to look at it. But React has started. Before we dig into this code, let's see what's going on. Nice. What a beautiful application. A wines page. You must be logged in to see the wines. Okay. Well, sign up, log in, log out. Log out probably isn't doing anything. Um, let's sign up. Jordan. My password is going to be squid. Sign up. Did we sign up? Is there something going on? Do I have an error? Oh, maybe it was just a little slow. All right, cool. So I signed up. It took me to the login page. That was cool. I just hit login again. It kept my information. That was handy. And now when I'm on wines, look at that. I can see some wines. If I log out, can't see no wines. All right. Lecture complete. Any questions? Y'all better have some questions.
Yeah, got plenty.
Namely, how the hell, how does that work? What the hell? All right. I've got to React. Also, I'm going to treat y'all like it's your first day of React because, as far as I know, it is your first day of React. I don't know what these other instructors have been teaching y'all while I've been gone. Probably nothing. Um, I'm gonna, I'll be probably get all new instructors next cohort. I'm displeased with all of these. Um, what's this? What's this folder here? Let's see what y'all have learned. Art. What is this folder?
What I remember about that folder is that like whenever like you add certain files or imports something like that, it seems like they're saved in that folder. So and pretty much you don't mess with that folder.
This folder, where is that here in the repo? Why
You
do
don't
I
want
have
to add
one?
you don't want to add the node modules to the repos folder because
Yeah,
it's unnecessary, it's bloat. That's what your package JSON file is for. So when you do the npm install, you're going to install all the packages that are listed in the package.json file, and it'll create that node modules folder for you in tandem.
yes. Art. Do you understand what Cisco said?
Yeah, I
Where
understand
did
that.
why are these here locally? What did this folder come here? It's green. GitHub says it's new. When did this get created?
That one was created when you created your React files. So it's just like a holding spot for a bunch of, I guess, like many functions or many programs that React needs, but we don't need to mess with.
When I created my React application,
Yes. When you did that, like that npm create, it should have created that node modules for you.
I ran 3 commands on this. Well, I ran 2 commands, right? I cloned it down. I hopped into it. I ran npm install, and then I started it. I didn't run React create squat.
Okay, so on the install, it was.
Absolutely. How does it know what to install? I don't think we talk about it specifically as much in Node or JavaScript, if you will. But just like a requirements file, we have a file here. Which file here has the list of what gets installed?
I would assume the package JSON.
Absolutely. Check it out. Name, local storage, scripts, yada, 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 dependencies, yada, yada, yada. Hey, check it out. With all these dev dependencies, types, React DOM, Vite plugin, ESLint, ESLint, ESLint. I bet you we go dig around this node modules, we're going to see some similar words. ESLint, Babel. We probably got the words Vite right here. And then a bunch of other stuff. We don't need to go poking around this node modules file, directory, sorry. But this is where stuff gets installed. npm install means create a node modules directory and install everything from package.json because those are my dependencies. Put them in the node modules. When you need them, look there. We don't touch this in terms of I'm not getting in here and doing this kind of stuff, right? Nobody's looking at these files. We interact with this indirectly, but this is our basically folder full of packages. This gets abstracted out a little bit for you guys when we do Python. But in our virtual environment that we create, remember, virtual environment creates a directory called venv probably. That within that file structure is where our packages will be installed. But for Node, it's right here in Node modules. We just pretend it's invisible. We don't need to look at it. Sweet. Package.lock should lock in versions. Good, good, good. We got public and source. Public is some little Vite SVG. Great, wonderful. But source, this is the meat and potatoes, right? So let me start this up again. npm run dev. This is running. Looks good. Ah, sweet. We got wine, sign up, log in, log out. These are some good looking buttons. Adam, what is this button? How's this button created? Where's this at? If I want to go figure out what this button does, where do I find it in my React application?
Could you go to app.jsx?
Sure, I can look there. What is app.jsx?
I don't know what JSX means necessarily.
You put me on the spot. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there we go. JavaScript XML. It looks like XML. It's JavaScript. It's just templating JavaScript, right? It's not HTML. It is JSX. Weird name. It's not that close to XML, but whatever. All right, I'm here. Good start. Where do we go now, though? So I see the word wines, but this is just a component. How does this button get in here? Where's this coming from? Where do I go next?
Isn't it rooted from the pages or one of the components?
How do you, I can go dig, but how do I know for sure which one it is before I go look? The answer is on this page somewhere.
Probably the imports.
Yeah. Okay. Is my mouse drifting? What the heck? Just watched it move on its own. Cool. Pages wines, right? Nice.
Nope, it's not
Ooh,
there.
it's not there.
It was
Is
in
it
it was
there?
it it was in
Was
your
it here?
import. No, it's that nav bar component right there.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I got a little ahead of myself. All right, let's check the nav bar. There. We see carrots like this. That is a word. That is the word that gets input. Um, this is the wines. This is the wines. I would expect this to update that right there. So cool. I found it.
Mhm.
Doing junk like this stupid little thing, this is basically troubleshooting, right? This is like putting print statements. I don't need to put some print statement in here saying like, you know, like go find the wines. Like I don't need that. I can just futz with the UI a little bit. That's fine. So now we're certain that's what that is. By that same logic, I bet that's the sign up button, login button, log out button. Great. I click on it and I get something else. What is this? What's this wines page? Uh, Joe, how's this page being rendered? Where's this from?
That should be. Trying to look at my version of this to remember where the heck this was.
No, look at my version. It's right here. Everything, all your answers are right here. We're
Ugh.
doing this together.
Go to no, it's not gonna be. Go to login.jsx.
You want to go to login.jsx for the wines page?
Oh yeah, it's I guess go to um,
No guessing needed here. Let's do exactly what Adam did. App.jsx is the
the
beginning,
import.
right?
Yeah.
So here's an element. We got a route. We got a path. This is probably to some page. Up here, we've got some imports going to the pages directory, right? So where do you think that wines page is?
Probably in the one that says wines.
Pages, wines. Nice. There it is. Wines page. Found it. Found it. Good. So we at least know how stuff's getting rendered. That's good. I bet you login page, oh, real complicated, but you know, it still does some things. It still navigates just like everything else. The logout button's just a logout button. All of our navbar stuff should send us to links. Those links would be established here with sweet Whamadime React Router DOM. Cool. So step one to this application, I want to see the wines. That doesn't work. Well, it does work when we're signed in. How does it know that we're signed in? What's going on with this page, Adam? How come sometimes it shows me wines and sometimes it doesn't? Still muted.
I'm thinking.
No thinking. We got 15 lines of code here. It's this is our import. This is establishing the function. Here's our return. That is a just empty nonsense component. It's all here. So when we're logged in, we see wines page. You must be logged in. Wines page is always there. You must be logged in. Once I'm logged in, again, was it Jay West or Jordan? I think it was. Did I not log in properly? Oops. I jacked it up. So I'm logged in. Now I see stuff. I still see wines page, but I don't see you must be logged in anymore. So what's going on in this logic here?
You need a token.
I agree. How's this logic defining that? What is this question mark doing? Do you remember ternary operators? Such as, like, if we wanted to do something like this, like age is equal to, 10. A ternary operator would do something like this.
Ternary is just a, could you, instead of using a ternary, could you just make a regular if else statement? Is it just basically like brevity for writing an if else?
Absolutely.
Oh.
So if basically age equals 10, true, well, sorry, true, false, true, false. That's it basically, right? This is some if else logic. You set what is the word? Damn, I'm been chugging slow. We make an assertion, and then we add a question mark. If it's true, this thing happens. If it's false, this thing happens. If I wanted to set some logic to say like, hey, you got to be 10 to be able to ride this ride, uh, you know, cannot ride. Can ride, right? That's all this is. It's if else logic. If the age is greater than 10, you can ride. If you're not, oops. If it's true, this thing happens. If it's false, this thing happens. All we did here was multi-line it, right? So user token question mark. Basically, does user token exist? This is truthy and falsy. If a user token is not established, if it doesn't exist, if this is empty, then it's false. So everything after this colon would happen. So if we do not have a user token exists. It's not this. This is if it was true. Because it's false, this is rendered. So it's safe to say if we have a user token, we should see this instead. We don't have a user token, we see this. So we're logged in. We have a token, and it generates list wines, right? List wines is just another page. Well, it says page. It's kind of a component. And it's going to do some things. It's going to create a wine list. We don't need to dig into all this complex mapping, yada, yada. We got a use effect that goes and performs some stuff. We'll come back to this. But just, we could hard code all this and make some wines if we wanted to. We could just return a list of wines. This is all doing it with Django. But that's what this wines.gsx is doing. If a user token has been gotten, it's been acquired, it exists, list wines. If not, just say you must be logged in to see the wines. That's great. We can do if-else logic if we want to. Ternary is great as well. Do what you want to with it. Get it to pop up however you would like. This is clean. If-else logic is a little bit more wordy. But whatever works for you, whatever works in your brain, do that. So great. Without getting into the tokens, I think we basically understand what the wines button does. We understand how it does that. that nav bar. Oopsies, that's components. Oh, sorry. Nav bar just shows this wines button, and it links us to the wines page. That wines page is right here. It's always going to say wines page. It is then going to, based off whether we have a user token or not, list the wines or say we ain't got no wines. That's straightforward. The question is, what is this user token and how do we get it? I want to, at this point, do I want to talk about the API? Let's not do that yet. Let's look at the login and the sign up first. Yeah, let's say we've already signed up. Let's keep this simple. We've already logged in. We need this login button. Nav bar, login, cool. Takes us to login page. Great. A lot of dang code here. Ultimately, what do I care about? Response messages. Should direct, set, should redirect. This is fanciness. We've got some redirect going on here. We've got a response message. That's all cool beans. But what I want to happen is I want to talk about this handle submit. We've got a form. It's a login type form. We've got a handle input change. We got form data. We got all this junk. How's our form being generated? Oh, this is creating a form. React builds a form. I know there's a lot of stuff here. Bear with me. Also, you can just do it exactly this way forever. Form type, login, that's built into React. Handle input change. Handle input change. If you don't love this syntax, sorry, that's React. But where does this come from? This will be passed in. Form data is what's going to be input into this form here. So username and password. We're going to capture that. Handle token, handle submit, response message. Goodness gracious. When this form is submitted, we're going to submit a form. We've got a token handler. We've got a handle submit. Handle token is getting passed in. Handle submit is getting passed in. Oh, no, I lied. So handle submit is defined right here. And this is kind of what I want to talk about. On submit, we're going to do an asynchronous call. We're going to capture an event. Looks good. Does anyone know what line 13 is doing right here? I hit the submit button. Right off the bat, prevent default. What is the default when you submit a form? Art, HTML form.
Default when you submit a form.
It's okay if you don't know. I thought you might off the top of your head know. It refreshes the page. We do not want it to refresh the page. Just HTML on its own, if you submit a form, the default is to refresh the page. We're preventing that. We got to slap this in here. Sometimes we wouldn't want it to do that. Context, all we're doing is grabbing username from form data username. Password, form data password. Simple, whatever is put into here and here are being put into this context. Const token, await, login, login, context, craziness. But this is the actual login, and this is what I want to focus on. We'll ignore everything else from here. What this function has really truly done, all this nonsense here, it's built a form. It's established, hey, the username and password are going to be form data, username, form data, password. We're going to slap those into a context. So we've got a form. We're able to pull the context out of it. And then we're going to log in. It's going to wait. This is an asynchronous function to log in. What does login mean? Where does that come from? Where's this function come from, Cisco?
Wait, login. Yeah. It's coming from your API. So you're using, yeah, that's a
Let's go
variable that's set in the API.
Yeah, let's go check it out. Auth API.js. We've got a JavaScript file here with some functions. Nothing crazy. There's login.
Yeah.
Login and sign up are going to look very similar. The difference is, where they're hitting, the URL they're hitting, and then what they return. So I skipped over sign up because we'll cover sign up in a second. Login. It's just this function. It's an asynchronous function. It's got a payload. This is the payload. It's a post type, headers, application JSON, whatever. Boilerplate, boilerplate, more boilerplate. JSON stringify context. What is context here? In this login function, what is it expecting?
Whatever the user puts in, their username and password.
It's bottling that up, and it's going to create this body. This is just a, we're just creating a payload. Const, body, await, basic fetch, doing a basic fetch to this URL here. We're giving it a payload. That looks pretty familiar. That's Django. And then it returns the token. So look at Django once more. All it's doing, it's hitting this get token. It's obtaining an auth token. If it signs in properly, you're passing a username and password. If Django likes that stuff, it's going to respond. And then this function is going to return a token. Log in, token, there it is. So we've created a form. We fill out username, password. We hit our API. The API just goes and talks to Django. If it gets a if it gets a token, it returns that token. That's its response. So and this is written in a way that kind of makes sense. The token is await login with the context. If it doesn't work, error logging in, right? That's what I would like to see. If it does work, we're going to use this handle token from, well, it's been passed in as prop set should redirect true. We've set this random variable to set should redirect. And then with this logic, if should redirect, navigate to wines. That's why when I logged in, it went to wines. Because right here in our handle submit, if you've submitted the context and if the token is received because the context is correct, it'll just redirect you due to this. Set should redirect. When we get down here, it'll navigate to wines. If not, it's going to stay here and say there's some kind of error. So handle token. We've got the token. That's great. What are we doing with that token so that we can reference it later? Where did this come from? Handle token. Let's find it. What calls this login page? Oh, I see handle token. Is this defined here? Sure is. We're saving it in state, y'all. User token is being saved directly in state. On app.jsx, the entry point of our application, right off the bat, we got state set here. What's the difference between state and a variable? Joe. Why don't I just have like let token up here?
I mean, I know you're gonna have to change. The state is gonna change at some point in the. I don't know how to describe this, and I'm not really sure that I fully understand it. I just remember that state is important for some reason from what Tiffany was saying.
So what? So state. What does state mean to you? Like, what is the? Let me try to. Let me not do that in a question. So here's the difference, right? If I just set this token into a variable, we could set the variable and we would still have that variable. That's fine. State re-renders everything that utilizes that state. It's reactive. If I just set a variable, I just set a variable. Who cares? If I change state, then the page that has that state on it knows, and everything else that's using that state knows, I need to re-render because I don't want to have to hit refresh. That's basically what we're doing here.
Right.
I could set token to this and I would just refresh the page and it'd be great. I don't want to do that. And I might lose it. If I refresh the page, is that going to re-render this page and delete my variable? No, we need some way to trigger a re-render without refreshing this app.jsx page, right? This application is still running. So we have to tell it how to trigger things. So we may not be doing much re-triggering with this token, but everything that needs this token will have it. So handle token, very simple. It's just this. Now it's stealing set form data. It's, oh God, okay. A little bit complicated, not that complicated. We've got state for form data. Basically what this is doing, this is cheeky, this is cute. We're just refreshing all form data. We're just saying, hey, all form data get wiped because you have a token now. Get rid of that form data. Why is form data being saved? Well, it's handy when I fill out a form and I don't have a token yet. I'm going to create a new one. I'm now Art and my password is still squid. I hit sign up. Look at that. It's still here in login. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cheeky? It could have made me have to type it again, but we're being cute with it. I log in. Now, sign up and login are cleared out. The reason for that is just this little handle token thing here. Because on sign up page, we established, hey, set form data. This is form data. We can then utilize it in the login form. This is handy, but not necessary. Handle token just clears all form data, sets a token. This token is now available to everybody. This handle input change is a fancy way to set up a form and cause the form to auto update. Don't worry about that. This is more of a do it this way kind of thing and less of a we need to really truly understand these things. Normally a form just works. You can just type out things right here. That's not what's going on. When I type the letter D, it's seeing that keystroke. It's resetting state to now have a D in it and re-rendering this page, this form here to now have a D in it. It seems like just a simple form that I'm typing into, but that's not what's going on. It is seeing that I typed the letter D here, says now, hey, the form data is now D across all these places. I think this will carry over. It sure does. Look at that. It's keeping it. These are two different forms, right? This is not the same form. But the state of form data has been set and we still have it available to us. So that's proof that this isn't just a standard like HTML form. It looks like one, but it's not. we're setting it in a state and it's re-rendering this page. It's very quick. If I slowed this down, if I had like a half of a core, you'd be able to see the computer thinking. But in real time, it looks like I'm just typing and it's there. It's not. I'm typing D. It's saying, okay, there now exists a D. I need to re-render this form with a D in it. That's it. Overcomplicated, but very cool. You might feel like React is reinventing the wheel that HTML already did. And yeah, it kind of is sometimes because it operates very differently than HTML. This is not HTML, even though it looks like HTML sometimes, it's not. So we talked about login. Login is in this, oh, sorry, in this API file here. Sign up is very much the same. This looks exactly like that. The only difference is sign up is not going to get a token back. So it just returns the body. Since it's the sign up, it's the same thing. It's the same, all of this, the payload is all the same. It's taking the context from the form. It's all the same. The only difference is different URL, and it returns a body that we're not really utilizing. That's fine. The login returns a token. These are almost the same things. This, also not too complicated. We're performing a GET request. We're using this application JSON type, whatever. We just want to receive JSON. That's cool. But now we're handing in that token. Remember, because we have a token, Django needs a token. If we interact with Django, we need to have that token. We have this token here. This is assuming the token's been passed in. So I'm going to walk through this real quick, and then someone's going to need to repeat it. Just from the login. I have logged in through this form. The handle submit has prevented a refresh of the page. It has taken that form data, packed it into this variable here, just called context. It's an object, right? That's an object. That's a JavaScript object. It's like a dictionary. That's all it is, right? We know what dictionaries are. We know what objects are. It then awaits a token once it logs in. If we don't get a token, we error out. If we do get a token, we set the token in state. That is done at the amp.jsx level. Everything knows that the token exists because the token is saved in state. We can redirect. That's fine. That's cute. We don't, need to worry too much about that. But we are going to go to wines. We've got the token. We've been directed with wines. One way or another, we've managed to get to the wines page. We either navigated there ourselves or it sent us there. We do a list wines. This is going to this page, list wines. It's listing out wines. We're mapping some some return. I'm not too pressed on the implementation details here. But we have to go get those wines from Django. We can do whatever we want with it once we have it, but we got to go get those wines from Django. So on the list wines page, once we're signed in, once we're able to see all this, the reason we're able to see all this is because we make an API call, which is get wines with a user token. And then we set wines. We set it in state with our new wines. That's why that page references re-renders. Get wines is just a call to Django. It's just a get request. I know this looks like a lot of hoopla. It's just a get request, returns a body. Token. Where does this token come from? How does it have access to token? Atom. We've already signed in at this point. How do we know what token is? This is established here. It's used here. We passed in user token.
If you signed in already, isn't the token already authenticated?
It is. But how does React know where the token is? Where did I put it once I had it?
In the state.
Yes! Yes! It's in state. Get wines, user token, right here. We can just follow the path. This use effect is getting these wines. It's a function, the get wines function with user token. We know that get wines goes to the API. That's great. We already found that. This user token is passed in as props. Let's just backtrack to our app.jsx. When we list wines here, wines, great. I'm losing my there it is. List wines right there, user token. This gets user token from here. All these things get user token. All these different pages that need user token receive user token as props, because on app.jsx, user token is being passed to all of these ones that need it. Signup doesn't need it, but Wines needs to know that we're logged in. And what is user token? It's just right here. It's just state. So everything, if we want pages to only be available when you have a token, we can just pass in the state of token with its props. When this page tries to render, we can do some logic that says if you ain't got a token, you can't see it. Basically, that's all that's going on here. The dance is that we have a token in app.jsx at the highest level. If it exists, doesn't matter. We're passing it in as props to do logic with it later. We ensure it's always null to start with, and then we set it with whatever the hell we want to. I mean, we could break this application very easily by at step one, just making token equal to true or equal to foobar. That's fine. This isn't a very smart thing. It doesn't need, we're not doing any more verification. We're assuming that token's good, because all of our logic from this point is just saying, you got one? You have a token? Okay, well then do this. You ain't got a token, you can't see squat. But that's the way we're doing this. If you want to see the wines page, user token is going to be passed in as state. If you got it, you can see them. If you don't, can't see them. The specifics, the implementation is not crazy. We've just got a nav bar here. Link to wines, link to sign up, link to login, link to log out. This is very common. All of this stuff is just basically rerouting back. At app.jsx, we've got a router here. These are all the routes that are fined. They all go to these paths. In our nav bar, we have a link to those paths, and we got the words here. If we want to log in, we got our login page. It's just a form, and it just is a call to the API. Here, login. Login. We all should know how to log into our Django application. Just sending a post request with a username and password. If they're good, it's going to return a body to us with a token. Then we got a token. This is all the error handling we got here. If that token's wrong or jacked up or whatever, we don't even care. We got a response. So it's a truthy falsy kind of thing. This doesn't have to be the actual token. We could just say you have a token, you don't have a token. But the dance is you have a form. That form submits to our Django application that we've already got set up. Just copy this. Copy this. If you copy this, in fact, most of this navbar stuff is probably good for anything you're going to build. If I were to build a new application and didn't want to build things from scratch, I'd probably go to React tokens in our organization. I'd clone it down and I'd start from there. We've got full routing going on here. We've got authentication going. We've got the dance right here. All of this is going to stay the same. The only thing that's going to change is our URLs, right? This is an excellent start to building your own application. This is what we recommend. If I need to come help you because your React isn't authenticating and it doesn't look anything like this, I'm going to come to your house and hit you. I'm giving you the answers right here. Do this. Questions about authenticating through React, through Django? Good, 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 good. Your challenge for today: write a React front end to DRF project of your choice. What I would do is replicate the lecture and see if I can understand it. I would then make changes to the lecture and make sure I understand those changes and where they go. You don't have to plug in to the API, or sorry, to the Wines API Django application. You can plug into any application that has functioning authentication on it, and it should be elementary. All you would need to change with this React tokens repository is the URLs. They're all here, hard-coded. Man, I'm gonna drag this lecture too long if I rant a little bit, but I never want to see this. Don't hard-code your junk. That's a pain in the butt. Let me show you how Jordan does these kind of things. See how all this code here is replicated on 3 different lines? How about base URL, and then oh man, jacked it up. VS Code, don't fight with me today. Oh, what's your problem? Okay. No, it was. There. Look at that. Ain't that much better? We're using the base URL for all of these things. Now we don't have to replicate all that code there. If I want to get more fancy with it, I would have all of these as variables as well. You don't really want to be going in and having hard-coded URLs in your code. That's medium level stuff. Don't worry about it. You can hard code your URLs if you really want to, but take it from me, you don't want to, because this thing is going to change when you go to deploy it. So save yourself some trouble. I like to see stuff like this. Any questions? Walk through the lecture, make sure you can spin everything up, make changes to it. It is of utmost importance that you're able to point at the button that says sign in. Have I stopped recording? All right, let me stop recording for posterity.